Okay, we still have a few more minutes before we begin, but I just wanted to introduce myself and just go over a couple of things. So we had started doing these series of yoga so that I could travel, really, and so that we could kind of see what people were wanting in their yoga practice, because as you know, there's just all kinds of yoga. Now we have face yoga, goat yoga, every kind of yoga you can think of. So in the summer, we did yoga for the back. So that was for people that had any back injuries or back pain, or they just needed to get a stronger back. And you can go to YouTube and look up these yoga practices. So if you're feeling like you want to look at something a little bit different or do it at home, because of COVID, we were able to find a way to get it onto YouTube, or I believe, I'm not real sure, I'll have to find out. I don't see. Mike, do you know if it's on Facebook? Yes? Okay. So they're also on Facebook. You just have to go to videos. You just have to find your way through Facebook to get there. So Lake Deaton United Methodist Church, Facebook. The class, we also did one on chair yoga. So anyone that you know that thinks they can't do yoga, there's a whole series of chair yogas. So we did that. And then there's a holy yoga. Yeah, it should be. It should be. If it's not, let me know and I'll help you find it. Also, holy yoga for those that like to start their morning with some kind of devotion or scripture. We have that as well. Now, this practice is not, you don't have to be Christian to be here. In fact, I know some of you and you aren't probably Christian, and that's okay. Know that this is just open to the public. You can bring your friends. You don't have to go to church here. I'm glad we have the guests that we have here now. So be sure you let your friends know. We'll probably advertise it Thursday to the church, so hopefully we'll get some more people in here. But like I had said earlier, it doesn't matter how many people are here. It's just important that you're here. And we're only doing it on Tuesday. So because of that, I encourage you on Thursday or Friday or another day during the week to go and find what we did today and repeat it, because I think it's good to do it at least twice a week. So because we don't have the room available all the time, we were lucky to get this time slot, and you can go and watch it and do it on your own at home. So I will throw out all kinds of cues. As a personal trainer, I'm all about safety. That's very important to me. I'd rather you just not do something if it feels like it's awkward or doesn't feel right. It's perfectly okay. So keep that in mind and know that this is your practice. So you do what feels good for your body. That is very, very important. Now we are going to start on the mats, seated. So, or you can sit in a chair, either way. So we're going to start seated with our eyes closed and just try to relax. We still have a minute, but if you want to make your way down to the mat, go on and do so, and I'll go get the music going where it needs to be. But you could just close your eyes and just begin to be aware of your breath. So really, the heart of yoga is breath. And breath really is important for our body, especially as we get older. We find that our lungs tend to get a little bit tighter, a little bit stiffer, if you will, just like our ligaments and our muscles and the rest of our body. So it's important that we exercise our lungs just by doing breathing exercises. So let's go into a breathing exercise where you inhale deep in through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. So let us just begin there. Breathing, a purifying breath. Big inhale in through the nose, followed by an even bigger exhale through the mouth. And continue to breathe this purifying breath as maybe we just clear our mind of any clutter. So we can take this time for our mind, body, and spirit to just relax. Let go of anything that's taken up too much space in your brain and just come to a place of relaxation. Some yoga people like to find an intention here, and that's fine too. So maybe you just listen to your mind and to your heart and find an intention. For me as a Christian, I invite the Holy Spirit to come into this room, to come into all of our beings so that we can just come to a place of true relaxation. Let us breathe a few more breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. begin. Inhale and exhale. Let us open our eyes and return to normal breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Take your arms out long with your palms up. Inhale to float the hands up, and exhale, hands over, heart center, and namaste. Inhale to float the hands up. This is just a big stretch. Reach your arms out long, float your fingertips softly to the earth. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, and one more big stretch, reaching our arms as long as we can, floating the fingertips softly down to your mat or to the floor, lifting that left palm up, reaching up for strength and over for flexibility. Now go slow, listen to your body, and let your breath guide your movement here. So for you, maybe you don't hinge over a lot because you have a herniated disc or you have an injury. It's okay. Because remember, we're all built differently, so we all move differently. This is your practice. Inhale and exhale. Let's float our hands down by our side. Sit as tall as you can. You'll notice that my knees are folded. I encourage you to, if you don't like folded legs, just bend your knees a little bit. It helps to protect the spine. So bent knees are important here as we grow as tall as we can through the crown of the head. Then pull your belly into your spine and feel your core engage. So I'm going to remind you to engage your core throughout our practice today. Our core, the strength of our core is what gives us balance. And as we get older, 1 in 4 people over the age of 65 have a major fall. So it's important that we take that extra step as we get older to strengthen our core so that our balance is better. So let us just engage our core by pulling our belly into the spine and sitting as tall as you can, feeling your posture muscles, lengthening and strengthening the spine, and growing tall through the crown of the head. And then from there, we can drop our chin to our chest. We're going to stretch the back of the neck because that's part of the spine as well. Let your chin drop to your chest. Let your head be heavy. Stay tall through the spine and breathe. And then we can take it down the spine by letting our spine round. The rib cage caves in, the shoulders relax, the head gets heavier and heavier, relaxing the elbows, the wrists, the fingers, everything, letting it go, opening up the space between each vertebra. And breathe. Inhale. On the exhale, roll your chin up to your left shoulder when you get there. Sit as tall as you can. Half neck circles in slow motion. So go slow here. Dropping your chin to your chest, rounding the spine again. On the exhale, come up to the right shoulder and grow tall. Let's do a few more of these half neck circles. Slowly inhale. And exhale. And one more. Inhale. Exhale. Sit as tall as you can. Bring your gaze to the center. Grow through the crown of the head and let your shoulders relax down away from your ears. And let your left earlobe fall toward your left shoulder with a heavy head. On the next breath, slowly lift the head back to the center. And before we do our next stretch on the other side, let's slowly look over that right shoulder with breath. Inhale to look over the shoulder. And exhale to come back to the center. Grow a little bit taller, and let our right earlobe fall towards our right shoulder with a heavy head. On the next breath, let's lift our head back to the center and slowly look over the left shoulder with breath. Inhale to look over the shoulder. And exhale to come back to the center. Now, with our hands on our bent knees, we're going to go into a seated cat and cow. hinging forward, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, pushing your chest through, inhaling as you gaze up, filling the lungs up with air. And on the exhale, nod your chin and slowly round back, but only as much as it feels good for your back. Inhale forward into your seated cow. And exhale into seated cat. So remember to move slowly. Let your breath guide your movement and work with your spine. Exhale. And one more set. Inhale. And exhale. And come back up to tall spine, lifting your gaze, lifting your heart. And we're going to start with little bitty upper body circles. So go slow and start small and gradually increase the size of your upper body circle. So we're just warming up the spine, bringing spine mobility into practice here before we continue. Maybe round as you go to the back if you want a little more, and lift your heart as you come forward. And listening to your body, going slow. So the slower you move a joint or the slower you move joints, the more tension you release. And I don't know about you, but I have a lot of tension in my back. Let us switch directions, starting small, and then gradually increasing the size of your circle. One more big circle, and coming back to tall spine. Let's straighten our legs out in front of us and ground our legs in staff pose by pointing our toes up to the ceiling. Once again, engaging that core, pulling your belly into your spine, but staying tall through the spine. I like to use my fingers underneath my armpits just to sit a little bit taller, and you're in staff pose, where maybe you stay, or if you want a little bit more, float your hands up towards the ceiling, reaching with your arms, and then hinging maybe an inch, maybe 2, maybe 3, whatever feels good. You'll feel that stretch down the spine. And feel the energy going through your fingertips and through the soles of your feet, and breathe 3 breaths here. You can stay here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can press your heart forward, keeping your spine as long as you can, reaching for your toes. Maybe you bend your knees. That's okay. It's a forward fold. And then as you breathe, maybe you slowly straighten those legs just a little bit more. So we still want to grow through the crown of the head in our forward fold as we're just stretching the spine and the backs of the legs. Next, we're going to roll our spine up by articulating it, stacking one vertebra at a time on top of the other. I like to round up, working with each person's spine, rounding up slowly, lifting the chin last. And then we'll pull that left knee in. We're using this knee to get as tall as we can as we go into spinal rotation. And we're going to take our left hand around to the back. Lift your heart, lift your gaze, lift your right elbow up on top of that knee, or maybe even to the outside of the knee, and lift your heart. Now, this is not just about the movement of the spine, it's about breath. How deep can you inhale? Inhale so deep that you actually stretch the thoracic spine, the lung, and the rib cage. Inhale, and on the exhale, slowly come back around to the center as we lift up our left ankle and put it on top of our right knee. Once again, sitting tall, growing through the crown of the head, relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears, and pulling the belly into the spine. Maybe this is all that you need to do to feel the stretch. If you want to go a little bit deeper with a long spine, lean back and slide that right heel in, only to lift your heart as you hinge forward, cradling your knee and rocking it gently, or maybe you're built where you can cradle your lower leg. Remember, the taller you can sit, the more stretch you're going to feel. And remember that we're all built so differently, so just do what feels good for your body. And then on the next breath, we're just going to go on and straighten out that right leg. Straighten your left so we can pull the right knee in, spinal rotation on the other side, sitting nice and tall, and then taking your right hand around to the back. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. This time, instead of bringing your elbow on top of the knee, maybe you just wrap your arm around the knee. So there's a modification. Or maybe you prefer the elbow on top of the knee. So know that you can modify however you need to. Breathe as deep as you can, feeling that thoracic spine open up and stretch, feeling the lungs open and stretch, and as well as the rib cage. Inhale on the exhale, slowly come back around to the center. We're going to bend both knees and move into a seated butterfly. So if you have back issues, keep your feet away. If you want a little bit more, maybe you pull them in. If you still want more, maybe you wiggle to get closer. Grab hold wherever it's comfortable. Grow tall. Pull your belly into your spine. By now, you should be very aware of your core from all of the times I've told you just to pull it in. Now you can stay here and grow tall and strengthen and lengthen the posture muscles, pushing your knees away from each other. Or if you want more, you can hinge forward with a long spine, letting the elbows float over the inner knees, gently pressing them down, and then letting your nose fall towards your toes. Breathe 3 breaths here and try to relax your shoulders. We tend to pike them up here. Inhale on the exhale, articulate the spine, coming back up to tall spine as we close our knees and come onto our hands and knees. So coming onto your hands and knees, we're going to go into a kneeling cat and cow. If you're someone with knee injury or wrist injury, you can continue seated on your butt as we did the cat and cow seated earlier. So your wrist, your knees, and your feet are all in alignment. Let's nod our chin and round our back like a Halloween cat. And then pull your belly into your spine and separate your shoulders. Feel the stretch. And then as we move into cow, soften your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders. Let the belly fall towards the earth. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. Inhale. Exhale, slowly rolling that spine back into cat pose. Inhale into cow. Exhale. Shh. Inhale. And on this exhale, on this cat pose, let's stay here and move into some big hip circles. It's called around the world. Your hips are going to kind of sway out to the left, and then your buttocks come over your left foot, over your right foot to the right, and then back to the center. So I'm going slow on purpose. Go slow and go big. Inhale and exhale. And 2 more. We're switching the direction of our circle with each circle. And 1 more. Inhale and exhale. We're going to drop into an extended child's pose. So your feet are not curled under, your toes are not curled under, your feet are flat. Let your buttocks come towards your heels and extend your arms away from your shoulders, dropping your elbows and your forehead to the mat, maybe to a block. I had blocks there. They're for your use. You're welcome to use them during any part of our practice. Let us breathe 3 breaths in extended child's pose. On the next breath, come back to your hands and knees, making sure your wrists are under your shoulders. We're going to go into a bent knee plank. So planks are not for everyone, especially if they have back injuries, even though it is the one thing that can really strengthen your core. So I like to do them with bent knees by curling your toes under, keeping your knees bent at a 90 degree and underneath your hips prevents your hips from sagging so it won't hurt your back. All you're going to do is lift your knees about 2 inches and hold it as long as you can. For you, maybe you've already dropped them back down. This is not an easy plank. Pull your belly into your spine, and we will continue to work on this great core pose here, bent knee plank, throughout the rest of our series. So you can bring your knees down and then pick them back up. Be sure your neck stays in alignment with your spine so that your head is not hanging. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going to come down, drop the knees, uncurl the toes. We're going to go into traditional child's pose. Big toes touch, knees separate, buttocks come to the heels, forehead comes to the mat, and your hands actually come back by your ankles with your palms up. Let us breathe 3 breaths here. Inhale. On the exhale, come back to your hands and knees. And next we have dancing lions. So remember those hip circles we just did? They were big and slow. That's important. We're going to add an arm movement. So let's start with our right hand. Reach it out, and if you can, float it up. Flip your pinky up and take your pinky up towards the ceiling with your gaze. So as you take your pinky back towards your left ankle, you're going to circle your hips. So circle your hips. Over and around comes the arm. These are called dancing lions. They're great for balance, and they're also great for joint release. So any tension in your joints. Inhale and exhale. One more, and we're going to end up with that left pinky up towards the ceiling, reaching it up and just opening up through the left side of your body as we go into threading the needle. You'll drop your hand under your heart, let your eyes follow, and then push through that hand underneath your armpit, dropping your ear and your shoulder to the mat. Maybe lifting your right hand up and putting it on the small of your back. Let us breathe 3 breaths here. On the next breath, come back to your hands and knees as we do our dancing lines on the other side. This time we're going to float our other hand out. Pinky comes up to the ceiling with our gaze. And as you take that pinky back towards your ankle, your hips circle. Move with your body. It should be flowing. It should feel good. The slower and the bigger, the better. Once again, inhaling and exhaling with each dancing line. Next, we'll end up with that pinky reaching up to the ceiling along with our gaze, opening up through this time the right side of your body, and then taking the hand under the heart, through the arm, dropping the ear and the shoulder down to the mat. And if you want more, you can lift up that left hand and put it on top of the small of your back or not. And breathe. On the next breath, come back to your hands and knees. We're going to come up to standing, and I'm going to show a modified way of coming up to standing instead of downward dog. So either you can use your chair if you need to. If there's another way you need to come up, that's fine. But I'm going to show you what I consider a safe way of coming up to standing. You'll take your good leg, your good knee, and bring it forward. You'll pick up that foot and bring it even more forward so that your toes are underneath your eyebrows. That way you have a 90 degree and that becomes a sturdy leg. You can use your thigh as though it's a chair, but before we do that, we're going to curl our back toes under and use the ball of the foot to come up to standing. So take your time. If you need assistance, I'll be glad to come over there. Good. So another thing, just real quick, is we never really want to come up by swinging our back up unless we have a fused spine. So you also want to either keep your chest up and come straight up, or when we do the downward dog, I'll show you how we roll up working with our spine, right? Okay, so now we're standing. All right, let's go right into mountain pose. By the way, if you need your chair, go on and go behind your chair, and you can put one hand on it, or you can just hover your hands. The chair is there for you. But mountain pose is really about being grounded. So I encourage you, if you think you can just stand without falling, just to go on and stand. Let your palms face forward. Let your arms just kind of dangle down, right? And then let your feet be about sits bones width apart. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Grow tall through the crown of the head, and then pull your belly into your spine. Find that core. So when you pull your belly into your spine, your pelvis kind of tilts up a little, right? So maybe you find neutral, or maybe you keep it tilted up, as long as you're engaging your core. Now we can add the balance challenge. Close your eyes. You can always open them. If you feel like you need to hold on to your chair, do so. But with your eyes closed, you become more grounded by pressing the four corners of the soles of your feet into the earth, into your mat. And use your breath to stabilize. I like to use the stabilizing or purifying breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. It helps me to stabilize. Maybe that would help you as well. So in mountain pose, we are becoming more grounded. We are here letting our mind, body, and spirit come together as one. Growing tall like a mountain, growing through the crown of the head, and strong and sturdy. Now we're going to take the balance to another level. You're welcome to open your eyes if you need to. Please do. You're going to roll your left heel up, flexing your left big toe with an inhale. On the exhale, roll it back down. And then the right heel will roll up, inhale, flexing that big toe, and exhale, bring it down. Let's continue left, inhale, and exhale. It's the flexion of that big toe that helps our balance. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and one more inhale, and exhale. Here's a progression, totally optional. Balancing mountain pose, lift your heels up. Maybe you have to open your eyes, maybe not. It's much harder with your eyes closed. It's okay if your ankles are shaking a little. You're just strengthening all those tendons. Inhale, exhale. Open your eyes and drop your heels. Let's go in and do some warm-up moonflowers before we go into more balance poses. So separate your feet wider than your shoulders. Maybe turn your toes out as long as you don't have any knee injuries. Be comfortable here. Float your arms up. Reach with your arms. This is all about breath and moving your body with your breath. Inhale to take your elbows in. Exhale to reach out. So modified would be a smaller squat, if you will. And progression would be deeper. Now we always want to keep our knees behind our toes. So our buttocks are going to the back instead of our knees going forward. Inhale and exhale. Let it feel great. Inhale, exhale. Shh. Shh. Let's make a sunflower with our hands. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you're modified. That's okay too. It's your practice. It's your body. Let it work for you. And one more big sunflower. Inhale and exhale. And bring your arms out into a T. Go on and swing your heels out so your feet are parallel. Good evening pose, it's just a stretch. Hinge halfway over. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you can hinge halfway where your nose doesn't go below your hips. Inhale, exhale, hinge back up. And now we're going to move into our warrior series. I encourage you to hold onto your chair with one hand if you need to. So if you're holding onto one hand, let your left arm be long. We're going to turn our left foot out to the side. We're going to bend our left knee and stack that knee over that ankle. This in itself takes a lot of balance. If you're new to yoga, it's really challenging. Now, I'm going to take my hand off, but if you need to hold your hand on there, do so. Then, if you can rotate to look down your left hand, do so, and you're in warrior two. And then peaceful warrior, remember if you're holding onto the chair, that's okay. Otherwise, you'll drop your hand to the back leg, flip your front palm up, and begin to reach up just a little, or maybe a lot. Up and maybe to the back. And breathe 3 breaths here. So it's holding the pose that really challenges our core strength and our balance. On the next breath, go back into that warrior two. This is a reset warrior pose. And then we're going to move into side angle. You can either drop your hand to your thigh or your elbow. And then if your hand doesn't need to be on the chair, you can float it up or keep it on the chair. Now you either want to gaze down to your big toe or up to your hand, which is a little more challenging, to protect the neck. If you want to go a little bit deeper and you want a progression, you can slide your hand down for extended side angle or not. And again, breathe 3 breaths here. On the next breath, slowly come up with long arms to warrior two. So it's the length of the arms, the long arms, there are levers that help us to balance, right? Go in and straighten out that left knee. Hinge your upper body to the left, dropping your hand either to your thigh or your shin, gazing down to your big toe in triangle pose. Maybe you can float your hand up. Be careful, this can throw you off. So here, again, we're working on balance, core strength, and stability. Know that you can come out of your warrior pose at any time that you feel you become unstable. Go in and bend that left knee and come back up into warrior two with long arms. So we're not going to do the warrior one or anything more advanced today. We're just going to turn that left foot forward, and we're going to go to the other side by turning our right foot out to the side. So maybe you hold on to your chair. Let me just move this for the video's sake. All right, so now we're bending that right knee, And the right knee should be stacked over the ankle. Float your right arm out long. If you're holding onto the chair, then you would have your left hand on the chair. Otherwise, go on and rotate to look down your right hand. Your arms are long, warrior two. You can always come to warrior two whenever you feel like you're losing your balance or you feel unstable. Peaceful warrior, if you're not holding onto the chair, drop that back hand to the back leg, flip your front palm up, and begin to reach up, maybe just a little, maybe a lot. Remember, we're holding this peaceful warrior for 3 breaths. Inhale on the exhale, come on back into long arms to reset in warrior two as we move into side angle, dropping that right elbow to that thigh, floating that back hand up, maybe gazing down to your big toe. Maybe you want more, you go into extended side angle. Maybe you still want more, you gaze up to the top hand or not, and breathe. Come on out of that pose back into warrior two, and we'll move into triangle. Go on and straighten out that right knee, hand your upper body to the right, dropping your hand either to your thigh or to your shin, floating the back hand up if you feel you can, gazing down to your big toe, and triangle pose. On the next breath, come back into your warrior two with long arms. Go on and turn your right foot forward, your back into a standing straddle split. Take your hands over your heart center. Unless you're holding on, that's okay too. Take your big toes in. This in itself is a balance challenge. Heels in, big toes in, heels, toes, standing. Now we're going to our balance poses. I'm going to move the chair because I think they're videoing this and I want people to be able to see. But you can always hold on to your chair. We're going to go into tree pose. So if you're holding on to the chair, hold on to it with your right hand and bring your left hand over your heart. And maybe you just stay here, or maybe both hands are over your heart. Remember your mountain pose and how you will ground it here. So I'll do this in a progression style. It's okay to hold on to the chair or have it there if you need it. Lift your left heel up. It's okay to keep your big toe down if you feel safer. Remember to stand tall. Find a spot in the room and keep your eyes on it. So you want to become focused. Maybe you want a little bit more. You can slide that foot up the inner right leg and just stay there. Traditional tree pose, you'd lift up the foot and put it on your inner thigh, but I'm going to keep it more modified today. And we're going to try to breathe 5 breaths here. Remember to stay tall. And what about that core? Pull your belly into your spine and feel how engaging the core helps you to stabilize. On the next breath, just release. Just let your arms hang down, shake it out. Shoulder rolls to the back. And then we'll go to the other side. However, when we go to the other side, I'd like you to change your tree shape. This is your own unique tree. So maybe you're a tall tree with lots of branches, or a skinny tree, or a fat bush. It's your tree. Take it wherever you want. Lifting up your right heel. Remember that left foot. Remember in mountain pose how we became grounded by just pressing it into the earth. Maybe you keep your big toe down. Maybe you float your foot up. Maybe you keep tapping the floor with your toe. Remember to breathe, engaging the core, focusing and using your breath to stabilize. One more breath. Inhale, exhale, and drop your hands down. Good job. Roll the shoulders back. Next, we're going to go into chair pose, which is balance and core strength. So separate your feet about shoulder width apart or about sits bones width apart. Float your arms up. See if you can get your biceps by your ears or your temples, and then pretend there's a chair back there. So your hips are hinging to the back. Your knees do not go forward. But then lift your heart. Lift your gaze. Maybe you just drop down a little. Maybe you want more, you drop down a little lower. And it's in the twist where we start to engage the core and strengthen the core. So bring your hands over your heart center, and then you twist a little bit to the left or a lot. Remember to listen to your body. You can even take it a little bit farther by dropping that right elbow on that left thigh, and then opening your arms up wide, gazing up to your top hand. Now that's a progression. It's totally optional. And then bringing your hands back into prayer hands, back to the center. Let's stand up and take a little break by inhaling all the way up and exhaling, circling your arms all the way around back into chair pose. Maybe you just stay here or you join me for the twist. Hands over the heart center, this time twisting to the right, gazing up to the right. You can stay here, or maybe you drop that left elbow to that right thigh and open your arms up wide, gazing up and breathing. Inhale on the exhale, back to prayer hands, back to the center. Inhale, float the hands all the way up and come back and down. One more balance pose. It's called Bound Eagle. So I'm going to take you through it in a progression style. Float your arms out long, like you're reaching for someone in front of you. Cross your arms. Lift your hands. Bring the backs of your hands together. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you can interlock two fingers. Everybody's built differently. Maybe you interlock your fingers or whatever feels good for your body. Then lift your elbows and push them away. Feel that stretch in the back of your back. Should feel really good. Now you can stay here. The next is a progression. It's very challenging. You're going to cross your left foot over your right. Maybe that's all you do today. Maybe you sit back in that pretend chair. Remember to lift your elbows, pull your belly into your spine, engage your core. Maybe you want more. I don't know if I can do this anymore. Wrap the foot around the ankle or not. Inhale, exhale, come on all the way up, uncross the legs, uncross the arms. Float the arms all the way around, down, around, and long arms once again. This time cross the left over the right. Lift the hands. Maybe you just interlock the two fingers. Just find a place that's comfortable. Lift the elbows up and away from the body. Get that stretch across those shoulder blades. Cross your right foot over your left. Maybe you stay there. Even this is very challenging. Maybe you sit into a bar stool or a chair that's pretend back there. Maybe you lift up your foot and wrap it around your ankle. I can't do it on this side, but maybe you can. And breathe. Inhale as you come up, exhale, uncross the feet, then uncross the arms. Bring your hands down, swing it out. And we will go back down to our mat for one more strengthening of the core exercise called Bird Dog. So before we go down, I have a way that I like to go down. You're welcome to go down however you would like. Come to the front of your mat. It's called a swan dive. It's really kind of fun. Hands are over the heart center. Bend your knees, keep them soft. Inhale to float the hands up, and then you swan dive down. You can bring your hands on top of your knees and then slide them down. Bring your hands down to your mat and step back onto your hands and knees. That was pretty easy, huh? Shake your hips side to side. So Bird Dog is a balancing, core strengthening exercise that they do even outside of yoga. It's wonderful for balance. Make sure your knees are separated before you begin. Go on and straighten out your left leg, curling your left toes under. And then go on and reach your right hand out as far as you can reach. Maybe you stay here. The next progression would be to float the arm up as though you're reaching for a wall in front of you. And then only if you feel stable enough, float that left leg up. This is Bird Dog. Pull your belly into your spine so that your back isn't arched. And breathe. 3 breaths here. On the next breath, go on and drop it. Let's just do a 1 breath child's pose. It really does feel good. So inhale back with your buttocks to your heels. Exhale, come back up. Separate those knees. Bird Dog on the other side. Straighten out your right leg, curling your right toes under. Maybe that's all you do. That's okay. Go on and lengthen through your left arm, reaching your left fingers out as far as you can. And then if you can float that arm up, you have to be careful if you have wrist issues here. And then only if you feel comfortable, go on and float the right leg up. So you feel the energy. You can even flip your thumb up. You feel the energy going through your fingertips and the sole of your feet. Keep your neck in alignment with your spine, pulling your belly into your spine, engaging the core. Inhale on the exhale, drop the hand, drop the knee, and we are going to swish our feet around so we come up back into a seated position with our feet in front. So we're going to go into boat pose. I'm going to break it down so everybody can do their own boat pose. So we can start with our hands behind our knees. Pull your heels in, your feet are flat. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Grow tall through the crown of the head. And then we're just going to roll past our tailbone. You can round your spine if it feels better. Look at your belly and pull it into your spine. So we want to engage our core right here. Now you can bring one leg into tabletop. Maybe you just do one leg at a time. Maybe both. So tabletop is as though your calves were sitting on top of a coffee table. You can bring your hands down if you need to, or maybe you float them up. This is boat pose. Continue to pull your belly into your spine. And be sure you're not on that tailbone. If you're on the tailbone, it would be very hard to balance. This is really going to strengthen the abs and the lower back and even the hip muscles. Let us breathe. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Hands back behind the knees. Hinge forward. Grow tall. And this is the way we're going to go onto our backs. Now, if you need any kind of support for your back, you can either, I can get you another mat. You can use a block, or you can roll your mat up and make a pillow for your head. So roll past your tailbone. And as you do, you're going to lift your feet. You're taking your knees with you. You're rolling onto your back. Pulling your knees into your chest and rocking them side to side. Continue, close your eyes. Those lights are awfully bright. I'm going to go try to turn them down if I can. And just kind of rock your knees side to side. So your feet are lifted, but they're dangling down. Right? So let it be a very relaxing feel. I think that's all I can do with the lights. I apologize. I'll try to get that fixed next time. We won't stay here too long today because of the lights. But I do want to do one thing real quick, because I really want you to know about your core. I want you to be able to feel it and engage it on your own. So bring your feet back down, flat. Your knees are bent. You close your eyes. Arms are long by your sides. Your palms are down. Now pull your belly button into your spine and press your lower back into the mat. And you'll feel your core engage. Continue to pull your belly into your spine, and you'll continue to feel the core engage. That's very important. So if you're ever doing anything in your day-to-day activities and your back begins to hurt, just engaging your core can change that for you. So just pull it in and breathe. Inhale and exhale. Next, we're going to go into final Savasana by straightening our legs, bringing your left heel to the left corner of your mat and the right heel to the right corner of your mat. Close your eyes, and if the light is too bright for you, it is for me, please go on and roll over onto your side or into child's pose so that you can come to a place of final relaxation. This really is one of the most important parts of our practice, total relaxation. Just relaxing every part of your body, relaxing your mind, your body, your spirit, even your breath. Continue to breathe and just be in the moment. The more you can relax, the more energy that flows through your body. Relaxing your toes and the balls of your feet, the arches of your feet, your heels, even your Achilles tendons and your ankles, your calves, the backs of your knees and your thighs, letting your buttocks just melt into the mat. Relax your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, even your shoulders and your shoulder blades. Let them melt into your mat. Relax your arms, the insides of your elbows, the insides of your wrist, the palms of your hands. Let your palms face upward so that your fingers can truly relax. And as you relax your thumbs, you'll see that your shoulders relax a little more. Relax your hip bones and your pelvis, your belly, your rib cage, your chest, your neck, your scalp, and all the muscles in your face. Relaxing your forehead and your eyebrows, your eyelids, your cheekbones, your nose, your chin, your earlobes, even your teeth. Unclench them, let them part. Relax your lips. Let your tongue fall away from your teeth. You can even relax your teeth by letting them part. Just be. And I invite you here to go into that purifying breath, inhaling so deep in through your nose that you feel the air go up your spine or down your spine all the way into your belly, lifting your belly high, pausing and then exhaling all the air out of your body, renewing the old air for new air, exhaling through your mouth. It should sound something like this. Inhale and exhale. This breath can bring healing to your body, to your mind, and to your spirit. And as we come back into awareness, maybe roll over onto your side in a fetal position, representing renewal or rebirth. Or you can stay on your back. And let us just open up our hearts. And may your hearts be filled with love today. With love of yourself. And love of others. Love of the unlovable. Love wins in our world today. We need more of it. Let us share the love we have with others around us. May your hearts be filled with grace, grace in all circumstances, and gratitude and peace. Let us pray for peace in our world. May we share the peace we have in our own hearts with those around us. And now I invite you to come back to a seated position the way we began our practice, or you can stay laying down. I like to open up the very last part of our practice for a time for prayer. You can scream it in your own head. You can scream it out loud. You can pray for yourself or pray for others. If you're online, you can jot down in the comments, and I think we have a prayer team that should be able to pray for you. But I love the opportunity to be able to pray for each other in the Spirit. So let us close our eyes and come into prayer. My prayer today is a prayer of praise for the opportunity to be able to come here today and do a yoga practice and share it with those around me. I'm so thankful for that opportunity. Not all people in the world have that opportunity and that freedom, and that we even can come here after all of the COVID we've been through, that we are here, that we are healthy, and we are so thankful for that. Let us open our eyes. Take your arms out long with your palms up. Inhale to float your hands up. And exhale, hands over heart center. And namaste. Be strong and be healthy. And thank you for coming today. Namaste. Next week, I think we'll do a little bit more on the mat, if I can get them to turn the lights down, where we're doing a little more core work. So just so you know, we'll still do a lot of what we did, but I really want to focus on that core strength. I also invite any feedback. It is so important that I hear from you. If there's something I didn't do that you want me to do, or if there's something you want more of, just anything. How to teach the class, because I teach all levels and I teach all kinds of specific yogas. So if there's something you're wanting, let me know. I'm here for you. Thank you. Thank you. Also, you saw the basket, and some people were putting some money in there. That is optional donations, as I said earlier, and that goes to ministries in need. I'm involved in prison ministry, as well as we do a drive-through dinner in Wildwood that I started when COVID started, and we are now feeding 250 people. It's amazing. A lot of these people are under assisted government help, and they're hungry, and it's a wonderful ministry, so we can use all the help we can get with that as well. So thank you.